You're now tuned in to the Cold Hard Truth, Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips@CaymanMorrowRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Wet.
Psychotic.
wet cardboard.
Yeah.
Penelope, you've got yourself a choice of a free bar tab tomorrow night at Boogie Nights or some free food from Walk and Roll. What would you like?
The free food from Walk and Roll.
Good job.
Cool. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right. Did you call me a germaphobe?
Germaphobe.
Germaphone or germaphobe?
Germaphobe.
Germaphobe.
Just because I have a silent B in that one time that I haven't even had a cup of coffee, just a charcoal shot in my stomach.
All right, it's 7:26 right now.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Darren's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Good day. Good day.
Morning. I'm crabby before coffee.
Good morning. Are you a coffee drinker?
No
Oh
talkie.
gosh, yes.
No talkie before coffee. That's how it is.
No, unfortunately, if I kept saying that,
Sandy, how are you?
I'm good. I'm a coffee eater. In other words, I only eat it in things like ice cream, but I don't drink coffee.
Oh, okay. I was like, you just like, I mean, I like chocolate flavored coffee beans. Do you like that?
No.
Have you tried it? Have you tried it?
I just like ice cream and frappuccino that like kind of taste like coffee, but that's about it.
I like those.
This is like
I like
straight
those
black.
coffee beans
Straight
that
black.
are covered in chocolate. Those are pretty good.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
gives you a bit of a rush.
I'll eat a whole bag. No.
I drink
Yeah.
decaf though.
I've had coffee like maybe twice in my life when I
Oh,
was
really?
in university and I had to pull an all-nighter. And I was like, all right, let me just do the coffee thing. Oh my God. Jitters after
What
my
gets you-
nap.
Seriously.
What gets you going in the morning then? What's your go-to
Gossip.
pick me up?
The gossip.
Ice
She
water.
Ice water. Okay.
That's what I
She
drink
dumps it
most
over her
mornings.
head. No, that's the difference. She doesn't drink it. She dumps it in her face.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, so I drink ice water. Some mornings I do tea. So most days
Okay.
it's water though.
All right. What you got for us this morning? What's happening in the world of Cayman news?
Yeah, so we got some Cuban migrants on the loose.
On the loose.
Like in a boat or on the island on the loose.
They have no clue. That's the best part here.
And where were they?
Yeah.
They have no clue.
Like were they in a detention center?
Yeah.
Or they were just like
No,
Okay.
they were free to move around.
Okay. So
So
they were already on the loose.
I know I kind of thought that was weird. I'm like, why are you looking for them? But I guess they have them tracked with because they're supposed to, right? So they have them tracked with a ankle monitor.
So why are they free to move around to begin with? Are they're not?
because they have legs.
Well,
they're-
yeah, I guess they fall into that category where they're probably maybe waiting. The government doesn't really say, but I'm assuming maybe they're waiting on like asylum applications and stuff like that to be processed.
But like
So
they were
they're not the batch that is like slated to be shipped back to Cuba immediately, sort of thing. But the Cubans keep complaining. First of all, they seem to have an expectation that they will be granted asylum, which there's an application process. But most importantly, I think their biggest gripe is why does it take so long, like 4 or 5 years? And I agree with that part. No application for any sort of immigration status, especially on an island this size.
I
should
know
take
why.
4 or 5 years.
Because it's a deterrent.
yeah.
They don't want
Well,
Cubans coming in and claiming
Takes
asylum.
us 15 years to get
Yeah.
status. So
Yeah, get in line, pal.
4 or 5 years. Okay, cool.
Maybe we should go to Cuba. Come over on a boat.
I'm on my 11th
And then you'll
year.
be
I
coming
think
in
the
4 or 5 years.
vast majority, I don't know what percentage actually gets asylum. I don't think it's that many, because the vast majority are sent right back to Cuba. So maybe I'll FOI that or just send somebody an email.
Maybe they think it's like in the States, it's like the dry foot. They get here, okay,
Yes.
I'm on land, and I think that's probably just a preconceived
Yeah, I think they have a different
I almost had
expectation.
Almost had it there.
Yeah, piece of tea.
I
Preconceived
don't
notion.
think that-
Half cup of coffee.
Well,
Only
it's
got
like-
half there.
It's like all the Haitians that have showed up to the Mexican
Yeah,
border.
That's been a whole thing. Yes.
It's they're like, wait a minute, we heard you could just come into the United States.
You're like, no,
doesn't
not
work like
that.
now. Sorry.
Not
By the way,
not
the
if
border's
you're not a
closed.
Cuban, apparently.
Yeah. And then they're gonna have to go through this. There's a process for every country that you try to go to immigrate to. Anyway.
Absolutely. And what I find is most people have not had the pleasure or displeasure of dealing with their own country's immigration. So they have no idea what it's like. I've been in that situation when I lived in the US initially, and it's not always easy. So I sympathize with migrants, but I also understand that there has to be a process for a reason.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a country that has anything to protect or value. You can't just have an open border policy.
Right.
Where everyone can come and go. So it is a very tricky situation. But yes, they've disappeared. The helicopter was Cayman's own bird was up in the sky yesterday.
I saw that.
looking for them.
How are you going to find a Cuban from a helicopter? There he is.
I thought they were looking at a,
really?
person's house in.
Maybe they got a tip about them being in a particular area. I don't know, Blake.
That seems kind of
So, but
silly
these
to me.
Cubans didn't just come
You-
straight from Cuba. It's not like they're on the loose with COVID.
I mean, you can
kind
see
of thing.
people, but I don't know if you
No, because they weren't.
nationality.
The press statement said that they weren't in any sort of restrictive environment, so
Okay.
they couldn't have been in quarantine. I think.
Oh,
Maybe you
okay.
could do the helicopter, hey, we're up in the sky. Oh,
For the love of God,
Hey.
I thought turkeys could fly.
I've spotted a Cuban. I've spotted a Cuban. There he
Sorry.
is.
WKRP.
I mean, how do you?
But remember when the last batch went missing? That turned out to be quite a situation because then they commandeered a Panamanian ship. So maybe the government needs to be worried for a reason.
Well, when you're desperate, you're desperate.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway,
So we'll talk about that for a little bit this morning. We got a stolen phone update that is going to blow the socks off of our listeners. We were telling them about this stolen phone situation yesterday. So we do have an update for everyone. We're going to talk about COVID booster shots.
What's the stolen phone situation?
Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Let me give you the short version. So, lady finds a phone.
Okay.
She messages us and says, "I found this phone." She found it like at Foster's or something, but she's like, "I don't want to hand it into Foster's because the last time I found the phone and did that, there was some kind of confusion and the phone went missing. So I don't know that I trust them." I said, "Okay."
I'm pretty sure you can trust Foster's, but go ahead.
But
they're fine.
So then someone calls the phone because at first she said the phone wasn't turning on. So I guess at some point it turned on. Someone calls the phone. She answers. They say, "Oh, I want to talk to so-and-so." And she says, "No, I found this phone." And the person said, "Oh, yeah, that's my phone. Where can I come and get it?" So the person drives to her house, picks up the phone, and disappears. Then days later, the real owner of the phone somehow contacts her and says, "You need to pay me $1,300 for my phone because I didn't get it and I'm the owner of the phone. Where's my phone?"
The owner of the phone lost the phone. So why would she say to pay someone who was trying to return it?
Because you had it and then you gave it to somebody else who isn't me.
But they said it was her phone. Is she meant to now, like she's trying to be a good Samaritan? She could have just left it and not had this whole hassle in the first place.
Yeah.
Listen, the whole lost and found situation can be very, very tricky. Take it from me as someone who found a dog once and tried to rescue the poor dog. And then I ended up in court because of it. It's just crazy. But I've got an update because we talked about it yesterday in the show because we had a couple of theories about what was really going on here. And you won't believe it, but we've actually solved this case. The RCIPS can thank us for this one as well.
All right.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about that. And then we have a Jeff Webb update. Remember Jeff Webb?
Yeah. What's going on? Is he still is it still being pushed out?
Who's Jeff Webb?
Oh my God. Supposedly he's going to get sentenced in December.
Oh.
But at this point, we don't believe it. We're just
in December. Wasn't he meant to be disposed?
10 times already.
Yeah.
So literally we're just whatever. So we did a story on it, but we're like, we don't believe you. December will come and go and he still won't be sentenced. So
he's not on an island. He's still in the States, right?
Yeah. I don't think he's going to return to Cayman because he's probably got a warrant out for his arrest.
I mean, I would assume that.
By the way, was there a press conference yesterday?
Oh,
Today.
yeah. Oh, so it wasn't. Yeah. Cause I
thought it was today.
Okay.
Yeah. I originally heard it was yesterday and then we were reminded because of the Public Accounts Committee. They were dealing with that instead. So it's going to be today at 3:00.
Today at 3. That's what I thought.
All right.
So we'll find out, get some sort of update on new rules and regs, I guess, later in the press conference.
Absolutely. And by the way, Blake, you were onto something yesterday when you said, why there's nothing in here about crowd control and whatever, because then I went and inquired and I was told that basically the regulations were the ones that we saw were released prematurely. And so it said it was inadvertently published ahead of the last set, which would be finalized yesterday. So
AKA they forgot.
No, I think somebody just jumped the gun in terms of getting it out to the public.
Wait, hold on. A press release went out that wasn't completely finished?
No, regulations.
Never happens.
How many times?
Not even a press release.
Not even whatever. It's every time. I love it. Anytime I get anything,
you get a corrected press release.
It's always going to be at least 3: the corrected and then the omitted.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get it out there.
It happens. It happens.
All right.
It's just because people are trying to get information so quickly that they're just not stop for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, you know what is even worse than that, Aaron? Yesterday I had someone in the morning, 11 o'clock, said, "Oh, we know you had some questions about the doctor's hospital situation. We think some information might have gotten to you that was incorrect. We're going to be sending out a press release shortly." Well, as of last night after 12 o'clock, I hadn't gotten that email, that shortly come email or a press statement. So I emailed them and said, "When am I getting this? You did say shortly and it's midnight."
So
didn't get it.
Someday.
Nope. Haven't gotten it yet. I haven't checked email yet this morning, but island life, what can you do?
All right.
More
Catch
fun.
CMR now on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Old School
Awesome.
Fridays, by the way.
Oh yes,
I
Friday
haven't
again.
told you yet.
You haven't told me. Where are we going
I picked
back
a
to?
year.
What year?
We're going to go back to 1980.
1980.
1980.
Wow, that's far.
Yeah.
I
It
feel like I
is
can't even remember music from the
41 years ago because
1980s.
my husband was
1980.
1981 and his birthday's today. Happy 40th. to
I
my husband, by the way.
was just a baby. Like I could barely remember.
When was he
All
born?
right.
What year?
1981.
81.
Yeah, because my husband's 40 today.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Songs like I'm Coming Out. You know that song.
Okay, yeah.
I was -3.
Celebration by Kool and the Gang. Come on.
That was 80? I thought that was a 70s song.
1980.
It's always one of those on the cusp years where
It's a good year.
you never
Some
you're
good
never sure.
good tunes in there. We still play on Kiss. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Queen.
Okay.
There's probably some Queen.
How
Yeah.
far back does your Kiss music go? Like what's your
We go back to the 70s, some of the 70s. Yeah.
okay.
On Friday nights we do a 70s show.
Right.
But a lot of 80s and 90s.
Also depends on how good the song is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Have a good one. Awesome.
Bye.
Whoa. Back to the 70s. I feel like when we get to the 80s, like I was still pretty young. How old was I in 1980? Let me tell you. I wasn't 10 yet. Oops. What kind of math am I doing here? My brain is like, I woke up late this morning. Can I tell you? I'm actually tired today. I feel like I was only 7 years old then, so wasn't really into music, but I would still know some of the songs because as you get older, you would have heard them somewhere. So buenos dias to Miss Morna. Good morning, Diamond Princess. Larry, good morning. Evelyn linked me up this morning. I got a busy day today. I might need somebody to help me with the shopping list a little bit later on. So KK, I might reach out to you again. Marshall, Alice, Rosemary's here. I'll be staying long. I won't be staying long this morning. Just got home from work. Oh, wow. So you did a night shift. No coffee for me. I wouldn't be able to get to sleep. Yes. Buenos dias to Daisy. Daisy's got her coffee. Yeah, like I said, I probably have drank like 2 cups of coffee in my entire life. I'm just not a coffee drinker. To me, coffee is like alcohol. It is an acquired taste. Miss Iva. Buenos dias, Elizabeth. Wee-wee's here in the house. Anthony, where have you been? All the way in the UK, my brother. Give us a shout out. Rick is here. Why are we talking about a phone? Well, Rick, if you missed yesterday's show, you missed quite the it was like, what did somebody say? This is like a Scooby-Doo mystery moment. And now we have an update that is even more bizarre. Felicia, James from Canada, Omiria, thank you. Good morning. Anne is here. Apparently in Cyprus, people are tested weekly at their own cost. Not saying it's fair, but they're all getting vaccinated. And how many people are they testing? Like you saying, like if your workplace mandates testing, they're telling you that you got to pay for it. Good morning, Cara. Keisha, how are you? Jonathan is here. Jonathan says, bring back Milli Vanilli. Aren't they dead? Did one of the Milli Vanilli guys die and then the other one is still around? Can't remember. Larry says, Rolling Stones tattoo. Good morning, Carmelie. Cara says that she needs a mug. Well, she said a nug, but I'm pretty sure she meant a mug. Cara, what's up, me? And I'll tell you where you can go and collect one. Good morning, Lori, joining us from Ohio. Al Ray, suicide. One died of suicide. Oh, yeah. I think I kind of remember that. Sad situation. Oh. Wow, what's this now? Another. Okay, we just got an email that looks interesting. Let me see what this is all about. Okay, I'm confused by that. All right. Oh gosh. Oops. Eh. Someone is looking for their cat named Shimmer. Went missing yesterday. All right, we'll give you post that for you. News flash, HSA unvaccinated employees are being targeted. Even though I promote vaccination, I do not force the vaccine on citizens. Targeted how? I don't know what that means. They did mandate it. And I think they gave you the option of leaving if you don't want to get vaccinated. Right? Okay. Yes, thank you. Good morning, Blair. Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's kick it off, folks. Good to see you guys. John, good morning. Don't say that you're from the 70s. You're like too young. I would say your year is 1993, right? The set number 70s, baby. Buenos dias, Josephine. The bank's starting as the first of the month, and you have to pay $150 each week out of your own pockets. Is that in Cayman? Well, child, listen, these things are not free. I mean, I must admit, they're not free, and I can kind of see them passing the cost on, because guess what? If they had to claim on your insurance, you wouldn't be able to afford that even more so than you can't afford it now. I was saying to someone this morning that I think a lot of people want a government job. Like some people are like, oh yeah, I want to be a civil servant. And it's really just to get free insurance coverage. Because if you have a family of 4 or 5, you know how much insurance is going to run you, even for mediocre, not even the best insurance plan? It's absolutely ridiculous. You can't afford it. Gosh, we only have a family of 3, 1 child. And it's like insurance is a lot of money. It's an excellent plan, mind you. But still, it's crazy. So you get the civil servant plan, and then, you think, okay, if I can save $1,500 a month in health insurance, then, that ain't too bad. Don't forget to tune into the show this evening. We have, Sonia has her mug. She picked her mug up. Beautiful. We have our COVID-19 spotlight with an epidemiologist. Every one of you need to listen. These are the experts you've been asking for, and nobody's bringing it to you like CMR. No one has talked about COVID on this island with an epidemiologist. Believe me, I'm just saying. They all want to talk about we're bringing in the experts, but the experts are not all that qualified. So we went to the top, and we got more in line for you every Tuesday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Make sure that you tune in. Darius Sue says, gotta have my tea nice and strong. Clinton, good morning. 2 young ladies. Which young ladies? Whose whereabouts are unknown? Clinton. Young ladies gone missing. Which one were those? Lori says 1 child. Spoiled child. I don't know about that, but yeah, I could only afford to have 1. I thought about it long and hard. I think for probably most of my adult life, I had resigned myself that 1 was probably going to be it. 2 was ideal, but I always thought, maybe 1 is enough for so many reasons. And of course, you can't really afford a bag full of children anymore. And that's what I'm telling y'all who do it, well, you do it at your own risk, so to speak. Yeah. Anyway. All righty. Jennifer, good morning. Rosemary says 7 p.m. Unfortunately, that's when my shift starts. You can go back and watch it afterwards. Good morning, Jade. How are you? Virtual hugs for you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so listen, let me tell you guys about the phone situation first. Remember when yesterday when we talked about this phone situation, we had a couple theories. Oh, we missed that. Oh, thank you for sending that to me. Let me just check with Renee. Normally she does the police blotter. Like she keeps an eye on their website. So we do have 2 teens that are missing. Oh, wow. How old are they? 13 and 14? Oh, Lord have mercy. Brianna Ebanks. Why does that name sound familiar? Has she gone missing before? Girls. Oh my gosh. Sorry. 13 and 14. And you're missing already. Not a good sign. All right, we'll talk about it here in a second. I'm pulling up the little police report. So, yesterday when we talked about this phone, why is it not under their overall heading? I think that's probably why it was missed. I'm going to give the RCIPS some feedback on this website. Because when you go on the website, you don't actually see it. And then one of their links isn't working. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? All right. I'll email them about fixing their website. Restart the email, because if I don't start it now, I'll forget it. And I do have an appointment this morning that I gotta. So the left sidebars do not work at this URL. And then it would make sense if someone's actually missing to include it. To include it in the homepage news. What's going on with their website this morning? What the heck? Seems very funky. Like it's got some issues. All right, I'll email the RCIPS. I do have an appointment this morning. It's like I'm going to end the show at 9:00. So let's dive in head first. Right, so I told you guys about the phone. In case you missed it, this lady found a phone. She didn't want to hand it into the place where she found it because she said that last time it wasn't really handled all that well, blah, blah, blah. And apparently, she ended up hanging on to the phone. So someone called her and said, they actually called and asked for someone. And when she said, no, I found this phone and I don't know who that person is or whatever. They said, oh yeah, that's my phone. So they decided she said, oh, well, come and get your phone. No problem. So they went and collected the phone. And then they found out that apparently the real owner came forward, and I don't know. It's a little bit bit confusing about how the real owner came forward. And like I told you, I always felt like something shady. I said this yesterday. I felt like something shady was going on in terms of, this whole situation. But the owner comes forward and says, you owe me $1,300 because you've given somebody my phone and it wasn't me. And, remember yesterday when I told you, I kind of feel like I'm of two minds. I feel like the owner of the phone might be in on this and actually just sent someone to collect her phone. And now she thinks on top of having the phone that she's also going to get $1,300 out of some innocent person who doesn't have $1,300 to give her. And of course, she calls the police and they get involved and all this sort of stuff. So, ironically, when she reached out to us initially, but we didn't have a photo of the phone, so we didn't post it. And it was like one of those kind of like, okay, we'll wait and see what happens sort of thing. But then on top of that, what then ended up happening, we talked about it yesterday and I gave you my theories and we kind of like, this is quite interesting. Guess what? Someone was listening to the program and they said, Miss Sandy, I was listening to your program this morning and someone contacted us, dropped off a phone last week to have it unlocked. And it's a Note 20. And we wonder if this could be the phone. I was like, wow, really? I mean, what are the chances? Such a coincidence that the right person was listening to the show and could message and say, we think that this is the phone. Or it could be. All we know is somebody dropped it off yesterday. So they said, morning, the phone that you were talking about in your show this morning, can you please tell the person to check me at so-and-so? A lady brought a Note 20 in last week to wipe it, but hasn't yet picked it up. Wow. So of course we had the picture of the IMEI number. We sent that to them. And then I told the other lady to go ahead and give them a call. And guess what? It was the phone. So whoever took this phone took it to someone to try to have it wiped, and they hadn't yet picked up the phone. Shady. But we're on to you. We're still trying to figure out who this person was. Like, I would like a name because clearly they're this person's friend who owns the phone and they were trying to steal the phone. Now, I'll tell you why. I got on my detective hat. Good morning, Philip. I'll tell you why I kind of think that the owner wouldn't have been in on it. This is just detective skills 101. Because if she was in on it, she wouldn't have had to wipe the phone. So she wouldn't have told the person, oh, go wipe my phone. However, the person is definitely known to her. And in fact, the lady now, when she saw the owner, she said they even look alike. So maybe they're not just known to each other as family. I mean, as friends, but maybe they're even family members. Family members stealing from you, not unheard of. I thought, whoa, so shady. So the lady was able to go back and get her phone. That's the good news. That mystery has been solved. But then she wanted to claim that the phone screen was scratched. And she thinks that the lady who found the phone should fix that or replace that. And she was going to reach out to CMR. So she didn't know that CMR actually helped recover her phone to begin with. Just be satisfied, lady. Relax yourself. Be satisfied you have your phone back. And that's another mystery that we can put a little tick mark next to that we've helped solve. So weird. So shady at the same time. What a bunch of thieves we have around here. I know, right? Jalissa's like, oh, snaps. Trust me. Tracy says she can almost see the weekend. Good morning, Paula. Hi, Olivia. Another Tracy. Thank you for joining in. Jalissa's here. So I just wanted to give you guys an update that has been resolved. Moya says, yes, boy, she need to sit down, but fix phone after you lost it. You know what I'm saying? She's lucky the person just didn't leave it in the street and have it ran over by a car. Sometimes people just go a little bit overboard. And then they want to try and drop CMR's name. Oh, I'm going to run to Sandy at CMR. Don't be coming to me with foolishness. Because we're the reason why you have your phone back. So just go sit down and call somebody on the phone. Call somebody else. Don't call me. Don't message me about this foolishness, okay? And what you need to do is you need to find out who this person is now that you have your phone back. Go and look at your phone log and see who called and went and collected your phone. Because that person is no friend of yours, okay? I don't care if they're family, they're not a friend. And you need to know that somebody would go out of their way to go and collect your phone from someone else. See, that's the kind of person you want to know who they are. Like they purposely gone out of their way to steal your stuff. Who does that? And then you take it to someone to get it wiped. Wow. Shady friends. Shady boots. Exactly, Jalissa. Like you don't know when it was scratched. My point exactly. When you dropped it out of your bag or your pocket, whatever, it could have gotten scratched then. Listen, go to Cellular World. They have these covers that they can put on. They actually put it on. You don't even see that it's a screen protector, like it's put on like with heat or something. I've done all of my phones. And trust me, if I can show you, I can take this one out of the case. This one always comes out of the case. Child, I'm a person who drops my phone a lot, but they're always in mint condition. See, I just dropped the case. I'm always dropping something. They're always in mint condition only because I keep them in a case all the time, in like a good quality case, right? And then on top of that, I have this. You can't really see it all that well, but you can kind of tell it's like it does have a little frame. So it's they layer it on with a machine, and then I need to wipe this. But then they press it on, and it gives you like really good protection. Tell Dennis I sent you. So always have a screen cover on your phone if you care about your phone. And people, when y'all going out there spending $1,300 on a phone, let me tell you something. You want to make sure you protect your assets, okay? So first of all, you need to be more careful. I don't know how y'all lose so much stuff. Losing phones, losing keys, you lose your children, look like sometimes. You're losing your dogs and cats and everything. I'm surprised you're not losing yourselves. Good morning, Celine. Sue says, yes, be thankful. She got the damn phone back. There's more in that mortar than the Note 20. Yeah, I don't know what was really going on there, but it's a bag of confusion. What was the conclusion of the Cartier bracelet found at Camana Bay? Oh, Natasha, you got a good memory, girl. So in the end, I'm trying to remember if they end up keeping their word about paying the person. But they were really upset, Natasha. They were all in their feelings about the fact that we had called them out. And so they contacted the police, telling the police that they needed to talk to me. And of course, you know, the police with their foolishness, they actually called me. Oh, Miss Sandy, if you don't take this down, we're gonna send the file to the DPP's office. I was like, really? And I'm supposed to be afraid? I'm like shaking in my boots. I was like, this is what news, what is wrong with you people? You know, what it is they're not used to like community news at the level that we do it. You know, Compass is too hoity-toity to help you guys solve your day-to-day life issues, right? We get into the fray with you. We get into the, what do you call it now? Where the soldiers are at, down in the trenches, right? So we're going to talk about your missing phones and your missing children and what's really going on. Like we really get into the nitty-gritty. Because they're not used to that, they think that when people do and when people call you out for your ridiculous behavior on an opinion show, that all of a sudden it's like, oh, you can't do that. Especially if you got a couple coins in your pocket. And it's just like, what? No, honey child. That's not how it works. So some people are still getting used to the idea. But I tell you what happened, Natasha. I have a common friend who was friends with the husband. And they called him apparently and said, dude, You need to back the frig off of Sandy. I'm so disappointed that this happened. And then he was able to, interestingly enough, because he knew some stuff about the bracelet, he was able to provide the husband with additional information. He's like, either you guys are not being honest, or the hoity-toity place where you took the bracelet afterwards was not being honest either, because here's what I know. So I never heard anything back again. And I don't know if they actually did the right thing by the guy who found the bracelet, which is really sad. A Cartier bracelet, I mean, I don't know what the value is, but it's more than what she was offering as a reward money. And in my opinion, if you say that you're going to pay someone a reward money, a reward fee, I should say, it's not contingent on it being in a certain condition. You just wanted the bracelet back. Oh, my husband gave it to me for an anniversary or birthday present, and it had sentimental value. And then when you get it back, you're so cheap. You're like, oh, well, now I have to fix the bracelet, so I don't want to pay you. That was just wrong. So many levels. Everton says, good morning. Some people are so low down and dirty. It's so up in the other way. Dirty. It's so up. And the other day I was in the store. Someone left their phone in one of the shelves. And I saw the phone. I brought the phone to the manager and said, somebody leaves their phone. Whatever the manager wants to do with it, that's her problem. My conscience is clear. Why go to all of that over the phone? That's shameful. Yes. So yeah, I mean, that's as much as we know about that situation. But even, there've been times like I went to one year, I was at Taste of Cuban, and this couple left their phone and walked away, and I was able to chase them down and give them the phone. I'm like, I think this is your phone. She's like, oh my God. Like they were ordering food and they left it like on the countertop of one of the vendors. So these things happen, we all can walk away from stuff, but the correct thing to do is definitely try to get it to the right person. And I think that the person who found the phone this time, she learned a more valuable lesson, because when you keep the phone, as opposed to, as Everton said, giving it to the store clerk or whatever, you then take on the personal responsibility of the phone, which you probably don't want, as you can see, that sort of headache, because all of a sudden you got people rolling up and you talking about you owe them $1,300. And that's absolutely ridiculous. Moya says, send the file. Tell them go ahead and send the whole file cabinet. Yes, sir. You understand? Exactly. Child, poor police. Sometimes I'd be like shaking my head. The average officer really appreciates what I do, though. They always stop me and they're like, Sandy, thank you so much. You have no idea the things that you solve, and what a hot mess. Kara says, no, they didn't. I know the guy personally, and they never did pay him. Really? It still pisses him off to this day. Gave him, I think, like $20 US. Wow. You see, that's the kind of thing that, like I said, I don't even know who these people were. They're Jeffersons, right? But that's the kind of thing that, honestly, you never forget. Like if I ever see them in person and it clicked as to who they were, I'd be sitting there shaking my head like, dude, you should be ashamed of yourself. Yeah, that's not right. That's not cool. That's really not cool. I'm sorry to hear that, Cara. Wow. Some people are just ungrateful. Thank you, Andrew. I do have Renee on it now, so she should be able to put that up here shortly. I didn't even know anything about this with these missing young ladies. So we will put it up because, like I said, we seem to have a knack for finding people. And so on. So normally when we put it up, especially for young people, when it goes on Instagram, people are all over it, honey child. And they're messaging us, yeah, I saw them and here's where they are. So yeah, I'm just sending the right, so I'm going to send the RCIPS some feedback on their website because it kind of doesn't make any sense how it's showing up. All right, well, there we go. They should have that. Yeah, because they have it under like a sub tab, but then you don't normally look there, so you don't see it. Like I would think that you would put it under both, so that it's actually seen. So there you go. Hold on. Website feedback. Listen, this is how they improve because maybe they don't even realize. We've had an issue before where something on their site wasn't working on iPhones, apparently, like the notifications, which I haven't gotten a lot of notifications recently at all from them now that I'm thinking about it. But the app always stops working. I don't know who designed the RCIPS app, but have them redo it because it doesn't work. And, I know that these people pay a lot of money for like app development and that sort of thing, and it just doesn't work. And so we've given them that feedback before, and then like, oh yeah, it's an iPhone issue, we'll have it fixed. And then it's fixed for a moment, and then it doesn't work again. We can't be bothered. We try to send them advice, but we're not actually here to fix your website. That's not our job. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, like they should have some redundancy. And I'll tell you why I think it isn't working, and this is not how it's probably intended to work, right? Let's just have a look at the website and I'll show you something. Okay, so here's the RCIPS website, right? So normally when you go to the website, rcips.ky, and you scroll down, the default heading is under police headlines. And then you see all their press releases and all their statements and whatever. And then you click on all headlines and it expands it even further. Now, you see where it says missing and breaking traffic? Let me tell you why a logical person would be led to believe that anything that falls under these two headings should also be in this general police headline headings, right? Or heading. So let's click on traffic. So breaking traffic, you see from the 17th, it says update, man charge in relation to the West Bay fatality. If I go back to police headlines here, I can actually see that same one from the 17th. So in other words, these subcategories should be showing up in the main category as well. However, with the missing person one, RCIPS requests public assistance, that was posted yesterday and it just doesn't show up here at all. Because the last thing you see here is actually about the vehicular accident in Cayman Brac on the 19th. So this definitely leads me to believe that it's supposed to work where anything in the subcategories shows up under the primary police heading, but that isn't what's happening with the missing people. Now, we could go back as far as June to see if this one was under police headings or not. But we ain't got that kind of time. But let's assume that if this last one did not work in that way, then it's probably just not working. Yeah? All right, RCIPS, that's my freeness for you for the day. Consider yourselves fortunate. You have an issue that has been reported, and hopefully you'll sort it out. Yeah, Sue, she was cribbling about not wanting to reward him. I thought, you guys don't remember, but I named her as Jackass of the Day at that time. And I thought that was really wrong. When people reach out to me and they're desperate and they're begging for help and can you please assist me in finding whatever, I know that it's only a bracelet, it's only a material thing, but these things have sentimental value. And like I tell you, a Cartier bracelet ain't cheap. I mean, like I said, I don't even know exactly how much it would be, but I can tell you it ain't cheap. So what's $100? What's $200? And then she was offering like US or something. So I was like, lady, come on. And these people live such a luxurious life. When I realized kind of who she was connected to, what came out and she married, I'm like, it was just really, really unfortunate. You guys can go check it out on the website. The story's still there. And I don't like people who take advantage of people. Like, it really gets under my skin when people do that. And I'm a person like, listen, if you give your word, you stick to your word, right? So I'm not pleased when people don't stick to their word. Yeah, remember, here's the story. Cartier bracelet. Not all that glitters is Cartier gold. Oh, that was a funny headline. Oh, look at this. How ironic. It was a year ago, September 17th of 2020. Such a pretty face, huh? Why is it the pretty face people always be doing the most? But yeah, she should have given the guy the... I'm really not happy to hear that. That's just not cool. Natasha says Cartier girl will soon lose more as karma is unforgiving. You know what? I don't even necessarily believe in karma. But what I do believe is that if you have that type of personality, like you are that type of person who would say that you're going to give someone a reward and then you don't, eventually, because that's just who you are, right? Eventually that type of personality will get you what's coming. It's not even about karma. It's just like, you're just a horrible person. And it's only a matter of time before you're going to get yours. Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at Cartier's website here. And some of these bracelets are ridiculously priced, like $7,000. Easily. Well, I hope every time she wears that bracelet, she's reminded that she's a dishonest person. That's what I hope. How do you look at yourself? You look at that bracelet every day and you think, I have this bracelet. Wow, this bracelet has such a story behind it, such history now. And I was supposed to give somebody a $200 reward and didn't give it to him. Like, I hope that actually gets to her every day. Cara says, Sue, more than mean, just plain dirty. The guy is family. And family to me. And he was like, you could see they have money and they could have given him the reward they promised or whatever. And they gave him like $20 US. Wow. Unbelievable. And you see, people like them, and when I say people like them, I just mean people who don't keep their word and who do this sort of thing. They don't realize that one day she's going to be in another situation where she's going to lose something. Well, she know better than to call CMR now. Child, she would never, ever be able to call me to say, I need your help. Unless it's your child. Then I'm willing to put my differences aside if your child goes missing. But anything else, well, maybe a dog, because I'm such a softie. Anything else, children or dogs, yes, I'll forgive for that temporarily. But don't lose another bracelet, that's for sure, and think that you're ever going to be able to call me. And then when you harden people, like, I don't know Cara's cousin or whatever, however he's related. I don't know the young man, but now you have made him think of people differently, because he's like, I can't trust people. So if I find something the next time, this might be what he's thinking, or other people who saw the story, they're like, why would I even turn it in? Maybe I'll just throw it in the garbage. Not necessarily that you're going to keep it for yourself, but maybe I'll just throw it in the garbage and not worry about the headache of having someone trying to use me to get something back. Like, you really put a bad taste in the mouth of other people. See, Cara said he did say that the next time he finds something, he's going to keep it. You can see how he would be thinking that way. Everton says, why there's so much motor vehicle accidents? Oh, honey child. because we have people who can't drive. He says that we need to start installing breathalyzers in motor vehicles. It's a combination of people who cannot drive and alcoholism or alcohol-induced traffic accidents, I should say. Speaking of which, I finally got my car back. It was in the repair shop. Big shout out to Car City. They finished the job early because it went in, I think, last week, Thursday afternoon. And it was ready by Tuesday afternoon. They'd said about a week, but they finished it early. And yeah, back on the road again. My daughter's like, Mommy, I missed our car. Kids are so funny because when we had the rental, she's like, oh, I like this car. This car is neat. What is this? And I had to explain to her, we're going to have it for like a week. It's just a rental. You know, she's like, okay. And then yesterday when I showed up, she's like, you got your car back? It's a different color. And I said, no, it's not. I said, no, Gigi, it's still blue. They're not going to paint my car a different color. She's like, oh, okay. And then she got inside. She's like, I missed this car. I don't know why. Yeah, Miss Sue. Not nice. Bougie. Yeah, I mean, people don't understand how their actions like that can really set people off where they don't want to help people anymore. So, I don't know. All right, so what's your drinking age in Cayman? It can't be 17. It must be 18. What's the drinking age on this island? Increasing the drinking age probably isn't going to really help. People just need to be smarter. Designated drivers. You know, when I went to USF, they had a program called, oh gosh, what was the name of the program again? Safe Ride. And they would offer, there was a bus that went around to all these different locations, the local bars in the area, and they would pick people up and bring them back to the university if they lived on campus or the adjoining areas. And they would just kind of like hop on the bar. Now people have Uber in the States, you know, they get an Uber ride. There really is no need for anyone to drive if you're intoxicated. Call a friend, call a cab, something. But I don't know what percentage of, I mean, I do think we have way too many people here drinking and driving. But I also think a lot of people are just, they don't know how to drive. They're just reckless. They make stupid decisions on the road. So that could probably explain about 75% of the accidents. And then maybe the rest have some degree of alcohol. And Gabby says, I agree. Things aren't how they were years ago. And then you'd have 10 times more cars on the road as well. Yeah. More drivers. And you've got drivers from all over the world that have very different driving standards. And they just, listen, they just do whatever. Some people have never had a car before they came to the Cayman Islands. So let's talk about the missing Cubans. We don't know much about it, except government said 4 Cubans have gone missing. They did say that they were not you know, they're free to move around. So they're not incarcerated or on detention or anything like that. But I guess they still want to know their whereabouts because they probably are wearing ankle bracelets or monitoring devices or something. Listen, I don't know where they might have gone. Are they the government's responsibility? Probably. Because even if they have an application pending, they still, you know, have to, our government has to take care of them and ensure their safety and all this sort of stuff. So if they're not able to adequately do that, then you could see where there could be some you know, reason for concern. The Cuban community is relatively small here on the island. Normally they know where people are at and what's going on, because sometimes they might reach out to me and say, hey, you know, this is what's happening. What I would suggest is if you have any leads that can assist the police and knowing what has happened to these 4 individuals, that you please reach out to the RCIPS. And like I said, the last time Cubans went missing, they were actually on a boat trying to go somewhere. You know, I feel bad for a lot of the Cubans that are here because they have said, listen, we think that the process is taking too long. They're not happy about their job opportunities and all this other stuff. Listen, Cayman is hard for Caymanians, much less. So it's not the place of milk and honey for everybody. maybe some people. But if you're not happy here, my Cuban comrades, please. I mean, we can't help you go anywhere else. I think that's against the law. But maybe just don't try not to stop in Cayman and on your way somewhere else. But of course, if you come in our waters, then we have to collect you and detain you normally and process you and do all this kind of immigration stuff. So I don't know what the answer is there, folks. I just know that sometimes I think the expectations of others is a little bit high when it comes to what they're going to get in the Cayman Islands. They're getting government assistance. They're paying for housing and all sorts of stuff for them. And it's just not enough. And I think our government has to realize that some people, no matter how much you do for them, it will never be enough. You know, I'll never forget. I wasn't in Cayman at the time, but a lot of you might remember, I think it was called like Tent City or something, where a bunch of Cubans came in, like it was a real influx of Cubans. I think this would have been the 90s sometime, based on how I've heard the story. And they were processing them at a place that they call like Tent City or something. Like they had a temporary facility set up for them. And my girlfriend used to work immigration at the time. I didn't know her then because I wasn't in Cayman, but she said that, you know, they found them to be very difficult to work with. Like they had an expectation, I guess, like what it is in the US, where the second they touch your soil, they got to get a big cushy job and all these benefits and whatever. And that's not how it worked. And they were not happy with their plight. So what they did was they actually took a rock and threw at the officers, or rocks. They threw rocks at the officers in an attempt to convey their displeasure. And to this day, my girlfriend has a scar on her ankle where one of those rocks hit her and chipped the skin off of her ankle. Not nice. So if you don't want to be here, we don't want you here either, because I think that only creates a situation of constant conflict, you know? So even when they commandeered the Panamanian ship, that wasn't cool. That made us look really bad. Speaking of which, who paid for that? I've been meaning to ask this question. Does anyone know who paid for that? You know, the Panamanian ship was delayed. Significantly, their journey. I'm sure whatever. I'm trying to remember, what were they transporting again? It was ore or something. But anyway, they lost money because of that whole situation. And I have to wonder who paid for that bill, because I'm sure the Panamanians are not like, oh, we're going to just leave and not worry about this. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, they lost their spot in the Panama Canal. Now, I've told you guys before that, you know, it's a big deal, because weeks in advance, or sometimes even beyond that, you have to book, because there are like so many ships that go through the Panama Canal that you have to reserve your spot. And if you miss it, you have a window which you come in. And if you miss that window, then that's a lot of money, right? That's how the Panama Canal works. And so they missed their spot going through the Panama Canal. They would have had delays. They probably had to pay staff extra. After that whole fiasco, they probably had to get their staff some mental wellness checks and possibly therapy as well, because they had people commandeering the ship and using the bathroom in a room and all sorts of stuff. I mean, come on, it was just the most, right? So Jared says, I hope CIG didn't have to pay for it. I'm pretty sure that we did. I am gonna double check, but I'm 1,000% sure that nobody else would be paying for it. It certainly wasn't the Cubans. And then they had no repercussions for their actions. They got out scot-free. So I'm happy to report that our CIPS corporate communications manager has responded, and she said that they've now added it to that category as well. They have made the change to include the headline category in addition to the missing person category. Wonderful. We've also shared this the PR to the RCIPS feedback Facebook feed last night to help increase visibility. Wonderful. So that problem has been resolved, hopefully going forward. And that was very prompt. Wonderful. That's what we like. We like resolutions that are done in real time. Because let's be honest, folks, in the 21st century, there's no reason why it shouldn't be. So Jared says that CIG is too generous. Sue, they haven't left. They're right here. And I don't know if the 4 that are missing were some of the ones on that ship or not. That would be a very interesting question to ask CBC. I'd be interested to know. We know Javier hasn't gone anywhere because he was harassing us on the show last week with a couple of his fake accounts, and he has a few. He has another one called Cuba Libre. I can't remember which ones we blocked, but he has more than 2. So yes. They haven't left. Nothing has happened to them. They've not been charged. Nothing. You just commandeer. You basically take a ship, and you guys saw the size of that ship, hostage, and nothing happens to you. Like, I'm so flabbergasted by that, really. And when I think about the things that the RCIPS will charge people for, and all sorts of other stuff, I'm just sending RCIPS another email. So I'm curious to know if they even intend to do anything about it. I don't know exactly what the charges would be, but it has to be something on the books that would have applied to. So Sue, it's a hot mess. Everton says your government has to pay for it because the ship is in international waters, and I will ship has a schedule, and they have to meet that deadline. And these people haven't been in jail because that is piracy. That's a stiff penalty in some countries. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought it was piracy as well. But I've never heard a single word about it in terms of what has happened. No clue. Don't know. Isn't that crazy? We'll see if we can get some information. Somebody else listening to the program says, okay. So the young ladies that are missing, folks, let me show you their photographs in case you know them. Brianna and what's the other young lady's name? Ania Stewart, 14 years old and 13 years old. First of all, they need to get better pictures of these young ladies. I don't know why they always have outdated pictures, the most jacked up pictures. Are they missing from the girls' home? Where are they missing from? Let me see if I can find out. There they are. So there they are. They are missing. It says here that essentially these 2 young ladies are being sought by the RCIPS. Apparently they attended John Gray High School on Monday, and they left before the end of the day. They're subsequently reported to have been seen on Fern Circle in Georgetown around 5 p.m. that evening. They were reported missing on Tuesday. Now, why that took so long, only God knows. And have not returned home or been located. So Brianna is of light brown complexion with brown eyes, 5'2", short black hair. She's reported to have been wearing a black jacket with black sunglasses, red baseball shorts, and a red backpack, which when she was last seen. and he is of slim build, dark complexion, about 5'4", with dark brown hair. And she's reported to have been wearing a dark colored hoodie, black sunglasses, and dark colored basketball shorts, which when she was last seen. Officers are encouraging them to return home. So my understanding is that they're actually in the care of the girl's home. And you see, police never want to say this. I don't know why they never want to say this. So we're going to update our story right now to tell you all the truth. Both young ladies are in care of the girl's home. That's important because let me tell y'all something. The girl's home is owned by the Cayman Islands government, and it's ran by Kay's Foundation. And so they have a responsibility to these children. The Francis Bodden, what's it called? Hold on here now. Francis Bodden Children's Home. They're underage, but I do understand, since they're bold enough to run away, that they actually are on bail for drug charges. Young ladies, get your lives together. The girls' home and Kay's Foundation has a responsibility to you to try to keep you safe. But if you insist on running away and doing this sort of thing, there's only so much protecting that they can do. Your future doesn't look bright when you start to do these sorts of things. Catherine says half these girls go missing chasing man. Sorry to say. Regardless, hope that they're found safe. And this is the thing: is one of these days they're not going to be found safe, and they need to know that they don't know for themselves if they might become the victim of some sort of a situation. So, young ladies, slow your roll, slow it down. What is the rush to try to be mature? I mean, I know that a lot of you have had a rough life and you've been exposed to so much, even at the age of 13 and 14. You're probably not mature, but you've probably had more experiences than I did at 25 or 30. But y'all need to realize that you're not that far off from being an adult at 14 years old. And if you continue down this path, your future looks very, very bleak. Now you're all over Cayman News that someone is looking for you and that you've gone missing from the girls' home. And, come on now, get it together. What do you want your future to be? What does the future look like for you? This is going to be it? In and out of jail, running around with some no good man who's just trying to use you for sex? And then he's going to pie you up with a bunch of children that you can't afford? Somebody needs to have some real conversations with these young ladies. You have choices now to make at your age that will impact your future. Try to make some better choices. Oh, you know how I feel about this Kay's Foundation and the girls' home. No one is holding anybody accountable. At the girls' home, the boys' home, Kay's Foundation, I don't know what they're doing. Everybody has checked out. Has the board been changed for the Kay's Foundation? I know government has been busy making a lot of changes to various boards. We saw the immigration board, work permit board has been changed, business staffing. But what about ones like this? It needs to change. Right? I don't know. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know whether they have or not, but I feel like that needs to happen really, really quickly. Because clearly what's there now has checked out and it doesn't work. Let me just show you some of the other board appointments now that I'm thinking about it. So for the work permit board, allow me to pull this up. we have some changes. Ugh, I'm going to ask the government about Keys Foundation. They need to do better. All right, so here's the work permit board appointments. I don't know how well you can see that, so I'm going to read some of these off to you. So we have Miss Maxine Bodden Robinson as chairperson. Is that a lawyer or is that somebody else? I don't know. Then we have Robert Whitaker as deputy chair. Members include Judy Ann Ebanks, Audley Scott, Pauline Green, Carson Denny Ebanks, Dennis Cum, Sarah Dean Barnett, Edward Hessing, Yvette Charlton, Miguel Smith, Anne-Marie Francis, Jerry Wood, Daisy Martin, and then they have, as a non-voting member, the director of works, or a designate that they can appoint, the head of the work permits, Cayman in status and permanent residency board, or the director's designate, I think is what that's supposed to say. A secretary and assistant secretary, they're all non-voting members. Okay, so then we have on the Caymanian Status and Permanent Residency Board. Let me pull this one up for you. It's a little hard to see these. I know they're a little bit tiny. So that's why I'm reading them off to you. So we have Mr. Steve McField as a chairperson. Hey, congratulations there. Magdalene Valena Robinson Clark as deputy chair. Roseworth McLaughlin, member. Charlie Watler, member. Denise DeMarcardo as a member. Joan Barnes, Thelda Whitaker, Carmen McField, Samantha Connolly, Joe Boucher, Dasha Samuel, sorry if I got that wrong, Chris Durant, Jill Ebanks Mojica, Steve Scott. Those are all members. And then you have the regular non-voting members, Director of Works, etc. We have for the Business Staffing Planning Board, Richard Barton is chairperson. He's an attorney at law. I think that's the one. There's also father, I think, with the same name. So I'm thinking it's probably the son, the lawyer. We have Don McLean Sawney as deputy chair. Stephanie Webster as member. Tamara Rankin. Melicia Adderley. Why does that name sound familiar? Sherry Ann Smith. Sherry Ann, you're on a board? What? Mess with you. Odell. How come I didn't know this? Odell, you're on a board too? Yes, sir. Kimberly Connolly. Which Kimberly Connolly is that? Orette Connor. Mr. OC? What? Yes, sir. And then Vanessa Rivers. The things you just don't know. I didn't know. All right, then. Take that. Congratulations, I guess, to all those people. Hopefully you do a great job. Because, you know, we have expectations now that you're going to do your job and do it well. All right. Let's see here. Thank you for bringing those to my attention. And then we have, I think I read these already. Oh yeah, they have a separate list for Little Cayman. So in Little Cayman, let me just read these out to you. In Little Cayman, we have a completely separate list. So for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, the following have been approved for the Cayman Brac and Little Cayman Immigration Board. So we have Temple Tatum as chairperson, Audley Scott as deputy chair, Vernal Ebanks as member, Elvie Lisbeth Walton Thompson as member, Janet Elridge as member. So that's in Little Cayman. Because they have their own work permit process on those two islands, right? Yes, Ms. Morna, congratulations to Odell and others. Oh, there's Odell. Hey, Odell, what's up? Yes, do your best. Keep them in shape, Odell. We have expectations of everyone. Mr. OC, he's going to be busy because isn't he busy over at Radio Cayman hosting his show? All right, wonderful. Good stuff. Let me just see what else we had on the agenda for today. So let's talk a little bit about the COVID situation. So the CDC has made a very limited recommendation in terms of who they say should get booster shots. So they're not really saying everyone. What they have said is people over 65, so older and at-risk Americans. So we'll wait to see what the British do with their recommendations. And I don't think it was an easy decision. There was some debate kind of back and forth about it, but they're saying anyone over 65 who had received the Pfizer BioNTech coronavirus to get a booster shot at least 6 months after their second injection. So they have authorized booster shots for adult recipients who are considered at risk. So their first group is 65 and over, because that is a tremendous risk. And also anybody else who is considered high risk of becoming severely ill with COVID-19 or are at risk of serious complications from the disease due to frequent exposure to the coronavirus at their jobs. So I would think that would be physicians and medical personnel, right? Nurses and so on. So they're the ones who at this point are, this kind of very smaller group of people that it is authorizing emergency. Is it emergency use authorization? Or is it just regular authorization? But it's authorization for anyone over 65, and then people who fall into the high risk category becoming severely ill. And I guess you'll have to know in conjunction with your physician if that's you. And then people who are exposed to the virus because of their job. So it says that the authorization sets up what is likely to be a staggered campaign to deliver the shot, starting with the most vulnerable Americans. And it opens the way for possibly tens of millions of vaccinated people to receive booster shots at pharmacies, health clinics, doctors' offices, and elsewhere. So roughly 22 million Americans are at least 6 months past their second dose of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, that's the CDC. About half of them are 65 and older, so that's a lot of people. And millions of Americans who receive the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccine are still waiting to learn whether they too can get boosters. So the FDA's decision will be followed as soon as Thursday, which is today, by a recommendation from the CDC, which issues guidelines on vaccine policy for clinicians and public health officials throughout the United States. And apparently the advisory committee of the CDC is now in the midst of a 2-day meeting on the issue. So it's a live hot topic. So even if the CDC were to take a different stance, healthcare providers are now authorized to offer third dosage or third shots for those who meet the FDA's eligibility criteria. So apparently this decision did not come easy because there was some internal disagreement at the FDA about whether or not it was a good idea to offer booster shots to the general public. So public health experts and state officials have criticized what they said were confusing public messages from the Biden administration about who should be eligible for a booster shot and when. Mm-hmm. All right. What is going on with the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee? Oh, so they have announced on Wednesday that all athletes and team members who use the organization's training centers and facilities must be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 by November the 1st. The organization, which encouraged but does not require vaccinations ahead of the Tokyo Games this summer, also said that by December the 1st, any athletes vying to represent the country at the Winter Games, which are scheduled to begin in February in Beijing, with the Olympics followed by the start of the Paralympics on March the 4th, will need to show proof of vaccination to be able to join the Team USA delegation. So the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee have now mandated vaccines, basically, especially if you want to participate or use their facility. The International Olympic Committee has not announced a vaccine requirement for the Beijing Games as yet. New York's largest private hospital, right, has mandated vaccines as well. So it says here that the fate of unvaccinated employees in New York City's largest private hospital system was uncertain Wednesday night as the deadline to get a first shot of COVID-19 vaccine drew near. So New York State's vaccination mandate for workers at hospitals and nursing homes doesn't require a first shot until Monday, September the 27th. But New York Presbyterian, the city's largest private hospital network, has ordered its 48,000 employees to get vaccinated on a faster timeline, requiring at least the first dose no later than Wednesday, which would have been yesterday. In recent weeks, the hospital had warned employees that those who remain unvaccinated without a legitimate exemption will be deemed to have opted to resign, according to an email sent to their employees. Wow. Damn. They're not playing around with you. So, Okay. So they haven't commented yet on how many people that will be impacting and how many will be out of a job. Quite interesting. More than 90% of the employees had gotten a first dose by early next week. Oh, it's not going to be that many people then. According to court affidavit from Sean E. Smith, who's the New York Presbyterian's chief human resources officer, in recent days, more holdouts had gotten vaccinated, according to interviews, but that still left hundreds, if not thousands, of employees unvaccinated. Wow, they do have 48,000 employees, which is a lot. About 200 employees have valid medical exemptions, according to Smith's affidavit. And at least 1,364 employees had sought religious exemptions. Religious exemptions, okay. The hospital had granted about 129 of those requests before the state's Department of Health reversed course in late August and said that religious beliefs no longer qualified for an exemption. Well, there you go. There's no such thing as a religious exemption in the state of New York. Interesting. A federal judge has since temporarily ordered the state to refrain from enforcing that policy for now. They've said that it will take action against unvaccinated employees who had previously received a religious. They will not take action. So sorry. Who had received a religious exemption or had a request pending. So this is being litigated, I guess. So a Maureen A. Buckley, who's an intensive care unit nurse, said in a lawsuit that the New York Presbyterian suspended her without pay last week because she remained unvaccinated against COVID-19. In court papers, she said the hospital system denied her a medical exemption and ignored her efforts to obtain a religious exemption. She looks like she's just trying everything to see what will stick. Reached by phone Wednesday evening, she declined to comment further, explaining that she was still in the midst of negotiating with the hospital. They're going to fire you, honey. Just find a new job. And they're saying that this 90%, more than 90% vaccination rate at this hospital chain is higher than many other hospitals. For example, St. Barnabas Hospital, an independent safety net hospital in the Bronx, had just under 80% of their staff vaccinated. And he's hoping that once the state mandate goes into place on Monday, that will increase. We shall see. So lots of mandates. Sora, good morning. How are you? Yes, honey child, you're late. But as they say, better late than never. Yes, Odell, congrats. Everton says we complain about everything. We're just a complaining nation. We're so spoiled. Nona says that yesterday, Dr. Lee reported that 73% of children ages 12 to 17 received their first dose. If this is so, then this is great and should be applauded. Actually, I have the numbers. Hold on one second. I'm going to tell you what they are. Let me tell you what they are, because I did see that email yesterday. Where was that? Do not purchase face shields. Do not. We talked about this yesterday. All right, so just a second here. We have a young man who's looking for a job. I'm going to highlight him tomorrow on the program. So if you know of anyone hiring, please tune in. He looks like he's in the IT field. I had a quick perusal of his resume. Let me just see if I can find this email here. Okay, we got the numbers. So 12 to 17-year-olds, 73% are vaccinated. 18 to 29-year-olds, 81% are vaccinated. 30 to 39-year-olds, 87% are vaccinated. And the 40 to 49-year-olds are 93% vaccinated. Wow. 50 to 59, 96%. And 60 plus is 97%. So that's the age breakdown for first dosages. Distribution is 50% female across the group as well. So the group that 12 to 17 obviously accounts for less than for the first dosages. So that's out of 105,000 plus vaccinations given in total. All right, we'll get that up on the website here shortly. Yes. Okay, so you guys know that the Health Services Authority has a new online portal. We're going to be hopefully liaising with them on how to navigate that portal. So we'll do a tutorial here on the program. So make sure you tune in for that. So Sora says, so you fire those who don't get vaccinated to lessen the workers, to stress out the ones who are there and overworked already. The logic, they'll find somebody to replace them, Sora. People are desperate for jobs. And so I can assure you that they will not, those positions will not remain open for very long. They'll find somebody to replace them in tutus. It's a reality of life. The unvaccinated will be having everything from travel restrictions to job restrictions and so on. So Everton says this thing is getting so much out of control. People don't want to take the vaccine when they're doing what they're doing. Their risk is other people's life, and other people are dying because of them, because they're filling up the ICU, and people who have to get serious medical attention, they have to make a choice now. So what happened if you get a gunshot wound and you need heart surgery? And yeah, well, we've talked about this, that unfortunately it will cause, the cup almost got spilled again. I saved it this time. So we've talked about this before, and that it is impacting the resources that are available, particularly in the US as well. We're trying to figure out how prepared Cayman will be when it's our turn. So we'll see. All right, folks. So I've got a 9:30 this morning that I do need to get to. So I will do that out. Okay. All right, folks. So that's it. I'm going to end the show now because I want to get to my 9:30 appointment on time, because I've got 11 o'clock and I need to get there on time. So I need to kick off my day a little bit earlier than usual on the road this morning. And I've got tons of stuff to do on the computer, contracts to get out and so on. And I have a little update on something. I'm not going to share it with you guys quite yet because I want to get the actual court document, but you're not going to believe it, but I'm going to show it to you. I mean, it's not that unbelievable. Because when you're a shady boots, that doesn't change. And more you are exposed. The truth always comes out. The truth is such an amazing thing. It just always surfaces and comes to the top. Anywho, you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Interesting. Okay. The news just never ends. Always something popping off, folks. Anyway, we will have it for you, that's for sure. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. Miss Nona says, will the famous Caymanian anti-vaxxers wear disguises when they travel to Miami? If not, they'll be exposed as hypocrites. Disguises because they're actually vaccinated? I mean, I guess they don't care about traveling, and I hope they never have to travel for medical purposes. I need to get one of your mugs. Yes, you do. Just send me a WhatsApp, 324-1612. And thank you for your support. He says he enjoys listening to the program. Jonathan says, I don't care anymore. I got my G3 plan ready to go. Let's just kick it off. Well, folks, we have reached a new milestone on Instagram with over 20,000 IG followers. Woo! Thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Thank you. We appreciate it. My sinuses are aggravating me this morning, by the way. Feeling a little bit congested. Anyway, thank you guys very, very much. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you here tonight. Do not forget, set your little clock. 3 o'clock press briefing. And then we will see you guys at 7 p.m. for our series, COVID CMR COVID-19 Spotlight. We will have an epidemiologist joining us from Florida, and he's going to give us an update and tell us what's going on. Please, please, please do not forget, if you're part of the Filipino community, you should be getting your boxes together. The deadline is this month to get all your stuff ready for shipment. And also, just generally speaking, folks, it's the end of the year. There are lots of product delays all over the world. If you want to have a decent Christmas, sort yourselves out early. You know, get your shipments in. Some of you are in businesses that you need to get your Christmas supply here for your customers. Do not wait until the last minute to do so. All right, folks, so get going early in all of your Christmas shopping so that you can get your things here on time and you can have a stress-free Christmas. Folks, again, have a beautiful day, and we shall check in with you at 7 p.m.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.